Good afternoon, Taran.
Good afternoon, Gail. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So, guys, today on the show we're having Taran Hughes, who's a great friend of mine, that we met 3-4 years ago on a business event, and we kept in touch ever since. And the reason why I got Taran today on the show is really for his expertise in sales, and more specifically for his take on selling. So, to give a bit of background and an intro for you, you've been working in the technology industry for the past 10-15 years?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
For large companies?
I work for companies like Singapore Telecom, British Telecom, some American organizations like AboveNet and Zayo, yeah.
Right, so big company, and you've been all the way...
yeah.
Sorry?
Blue chip organizations.
Right, so blue chip organization, and you went through the entire ladder from being a frontline sales rep to becoming a sales manager to becoming the director of sales.
Yeah, that's right. I climbed my way up.
You climbed your way up, like, great. So you've got a broad spectrum of understanding of the sales cycle. Wonderful. That's awesome. And now, so what you've been doing for the past, I think, year and a half?
Yeah, thank you. So I have been building a program for mindset for salespeople to help them become more effective, help them engage with their clients more effectively, and experience more success in what they do.
Yes.
And it complements proven sales methodologies. So your Miller-Hyman's, your Challenger sales, your spin selling, those are all great foundations. But why can two seemingly similar salespeople have very different experiences in terms of success? And it's their mindset. It's how they come to their environment, how they approach their job, how they interact, and how mindful they are of their own awareness of their own thoughts and ideas about what they do. Right. And that is the core of the conscious sale.
Conscious sales. So the name, for those of you who don't know, so you frame that as called the conscious sales.
I'm bringing a conscious awareness into the domain of selling.
Right.
So 3 core areas of what we talk about: state, intention, and belief. These 3 points of conscious performance help to uncover some of the hidden obstacles or the hidden sabotages that we undertake that stop us from realizing our own sales success.
Right.
It's not that we have to find it. We just have to stop getting in our own way.
Right, I get that. Okay, so you don't get in your own way. So if I'm a sales rep or sales manager, who would that be targeted to? Who would be the ideal person to use it?
I think the benefit is from anybody in sales.
Right.
Ideally, sales reps, sales managers, whomever want to find more consistency in their sales experience.
Yes.
I've written this directed directly at the sales rep, at the salesperson, at the entrepreneur engaging with his client space. But from a broader perspective, sales managers, sales directors will also see the value of this, because by implementing this program across their sales team, they will see the benefit of improvement across the board. Right. Because at the moment, today we have the Pareto's law of 80-20.
Yep.
So 20% of the workforce is responsible for 80% of the revenue.
Right, yeah.
And that's largely because of the mindset. I believe it's because of the mindset employed by that 20%.
I get that, man. Okay, right. So it's really something that would sit across the organization, or across the sales organization, which I would imagine you use what you've done for the past 10-15 years to get there, right?
Indeed. It's all about understanding your own role in the sales cycle, exploring your own limiting beliefs, why you have those ideas. But it's also about recognizing the energy that you walk into a room with. You know, your state, for the description of for the program, your energetic state that you embody. It's intangible, and yet you can feel somebody who's energized, someone who has a positive orientation and outlook towards what they do. So we explore and cement the importance of high energy state, because from that position, you're able to overcome many of the obstacles that life throws at you, certainly in the workplace. And then with the intention, we seek to supplant those limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, the ideas that I can't do something, or I keep seeming to repeat the same experiences. By understanding what those limitations are and replacing them with enabling beliefs within the conscious sale, you start to allow the success to flow more consistently towards you by not becoming your own saboteur.
Right. Okay. Cool. So that's the intention states. If I roll back a little bit on the state,
Yeah.
which is the first one, um, what I'd like to understand is, so I get the importance of it, that having being in the right state of mind to
Yeah.
approach a sales conversation, to go about a meeting, to ask for a close, all of these things. That's fantastic. I get the value there. The question is, how would you do it in simple terms? How, if say somebody's watching now, say, right, tomorrow I've got this big important meeting, do one, two, three things, and off you go. That's going to shift
Sure.
your meeting.
Absolutely. So there's two approaches. There's the practice, which is what I encourage people to undertake, which is ongoing. Exercise is a wonderful approach, and it's as little as 20 minutes a day of energetic aerobic exercise will help to raise the state. And it does that by releasing different neurochemicals in the brain. But to answer your question, what can the guy or the girl do tomorrow for the meeting? They can prepare by putting themselves somewhere that they can clear their mind. Yeah.
Like meditation, you mean?
No. Just sit down, clear their mind, put some headphones in, and listen to a couple of minutes, a couple of songs of high energy music, something that they can't stop. When they listen to it, they want to move their feet, they want to get up and dance. That
Yes.
high energy music, that's state changing. There's a
Right.
reason why when we hear loud music and you feel that emotion through your body.
Yes.
We want to harness that power to help us raise our state.
Right.
Because it's easily accessible. Everybody has a mobile smartphone. We can have a couple of tracks on their phone. Everyone carries earphones normally. Just
do,
pop the earphones in before you go into your meeting. Listen to a good, lively track that really lifts your energy, because this will just perk you up. And then you have to set the intention behind that. But just from an energy state, I'd say exercise regularly.
Right.
Listen to music while you're doing it helps.
Yes.
Because that starts to reprogram the neurochemistry.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
start to produce endorphins. You start to produce BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factors, serotonin, all these great chemicals that lift raise our state and our mood. So that is really important to become habitual in creating that start to your day. And as I say, if you can't find 20 minutes, you need to restructure your day. I do my 20 minutes exercise every morning. I live in a building with no stairs, so I run up and down the stairs a few times in the morning, gets the blood flowing, gets the state going. I've got the headphones on, then I'm ready for the day.
Yes.
You can make it whatever you need it to be.
Right. Okay.
Just
Cool.
don't believe that you need to go to a gym or you need to do something specific. You can make it happen in your own space.
Right. Cool. So it sounds like it's really the first thing I got from there, and I got a lot from that. Just that interaction. So thank you very much. The first thing is be practical. You don't need to go to the gym. Use what you have at home, I would guess, or at work, and do that for 20 minutes. So maybe start
As a
jumps,
practice?
stuff yes.
As a practice, as an ongoing practice to your daily approach to the day, get up and do some exercise to raise the state. But
Right.
if you just want to quickly pick yourself up, music is a great way of doing that.
Music, yes.
It's a great enabler.
What do you listen to when you need that quick burst of energy? Of
Me,
state?
I got a whole host of music that I can call upon to raise my state. A load of dance music, stuff that just gets me lifted.
Right. Okay. Cool. I love Pitbull. Pitbull is the guy that just gets me
Yeah,
going.
well, we both remember that track. That's
Here we
great.
go. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Right. And from the daily thing, do you do that like in the morning, in the evening, the afternoon? Is the best time to do it, or how does that work?
For me, I believe the morning is the preparation for your day ahead. So
Okay.
the first thing you do, if you can do something that energizes you, something that lifts you, something that raises your state, the rest of the day that you encounter, all the experiences that follow, will be seen through the filter of that raised state.
Ah, okay.
And when we see life in a positive, if we're feeling good about ourselves, and when we talk a state, it's that inner condition, how you're feeling inside.
Yes.
Everything you observe, everything you encounter is seen through that perceptive filter. Conversely, if you don't do anything to raise your state, if you wake up and it's a grey day and you wish you didn't have to go to work and everything is miserable, you're looking through life in a distorted way. So it's always good to come to the day with the best energetic state to take on the challenges that are going to unfold in front of you.
Yes.
So morning for me is perfect.
I get that. So like straight out of bed, go and do things. But I think that's amazing. It's like, and I've been struggling
Well,
a while to get
it's
out
not
of
rocket
bed.
science. We've been talking about the benefits on the body of exercise for years, but now we're really more interested in understanding what happens in the mind, because not only is it conditioning the body, yeah, it's conditioning the mind. There's a lot of evidence research done to understand the effects of those neurochemicals on our ability to deal with stress. You know, the serotonin, the endorphin, the BDNFs, they're all part of this chemical soup that enables us to deal with daily life. And yet we don't know necessarily how to trigger it. Until it was actually explored and identified, we just thought that the majority of the exercise was good for the body, except for a few people that became kind of hooked on it because they became adrenaline junkies or they became exercise junkies, feeling really great. Now we're exploring and we have a better understanding of what's happening when you get into that zone, into that energetic state. So state is incredibly important to start your day.
Right, absolutely, man. I totally get that. And it's interesting. It's something I've been battling with for some time. Like, how do you get out of bed with very high energy? And I'll totally try what you're telling there. Like, just do 20 minutes of exercise, run up and down the stairs, even if it's weird. Just go and do it. Or go
well, you know, for me, that's the immediate, obvious thing for me to do. I live on the 4th floor. I live out in Barcelona, as you know, and This is an old building, so for me, the stairs are a perfect opportunity. But what I would say is this. You asked the question, how do I get out of bed and feel energized? Go one step back. The night before you go to sleep, the last thing in your mind, set the intention that you're going to get up, and set the intention that you're going to get up and just go straight into, I don't know, 40 press-ups, or straight into a 2-mile run. If you set the intention, the last thing that you go to sleep on is that idea, and that's going to spend the whole night circulating in your subconscious mind. You're going to be more likely enabled to get up and go straight into that activity, that exercise when you awaken, as if instead of sitting in front of the television and watching a program as the last thing at night. It's really important that the last thing you put into your mind before you sleep is positive and enabling. So it's a circle, it's a feedback loop, you know. So state is important, but the intentions that we set can feed into the creation of that state.
I get that, yes. That's very interesting to see, like, set your night before the way you want to get up, essentially.
Set your intentions the night before for what you want to accomplish. It might start off with just getting out of bed. As soon as the first ring of the alarm goes, you get up and go straight into it. It might be that you have a really important meeting or an incredibly tough day with proposal writing or calls to make. Set your intentions as to what you want them to be like. Have an idea of how they're going to unfold. So sit there and quietly visualize each aspect of whatever it is that's going to take place. If it's a meeting, imagine the journey there being really easy and the sun shining and everything happens fluidly. Imagine the person hosting it is shaking your hand, smiling. The conversation you have together is fluid before you get to the room. Imagine all the detail, as much color as you can, because what you're doing is you're painting a picture for your subconscious mind to direct towards. Because, you know, in the absence of an intention, we're relying on our past experiences. Now, that's great if all your past experiences have been positive ones, but if you're engaging in something that you've historically not enjoyed, whether that's the exercise in the morning, whether that's cold calling, whether that's a meeting or writing proposals, in the absence of a positive enabling intention, the subconscious mind will recognize what you're doing, because that's what it does. It recognizes patterns, and it will put on you a suit of armor, best equipping you for that experience. But that experience is going to be based on past experience.
Right.
So if you've had in the past ideas that the meetings don't always go well with this client, or cold calling is really difficult, if people still do that these days, or the meetings are always tough with my manager, you will have an undercurrent of that energetic emotion running whilst you're engaged in that activity. You'll be seeing that present moment through the past filter.
Well, you don't even know it, and you think it's
precisely
just a new thing.
So you must set intentions if you want to change the expected outcome. Change your physiology. If you're always sitting down when you make phone calls, stand up. whatever it is that breaks the cycle of your behavior and your patterns of performance, it's really important to be aware of how you are in each of those situations. But when you become aware of it, don't judge yourself if you recognize that something you've been doing, even if it's for a long time, has been evident that it's not serving you. Just recognize it and be grateful that you now know. But make the intention to change it. There's no judgment here, because judgment just creates mental conflict.
Yeah, no, man, I get that, and that's so true. It's so easy that to beat yourself up when you realize what you've been doing for years, and you say, "Oh man, that was so wrong."
Indeed.
So instead of that, yeah, just accepting it's there, and you decide it's not serving you, and you want to move on into another way of being, essentially.
You're reprogramming your subconscious mind.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider that only 4 to 5% of our cognitive function, our awareness, our thinking is done at this awareness level, and everything else is subconscious, it becomes incredibly evident how important having enabling intentions are in order to supplant those limiting beliefs. And if you think about it, Gail, where does a limiting belief come from? It starts off as an idea, and that idea was based on an experience. That was one event in your life. It could have been an event 10 years ago, and yet that experience may have elicited some kind of strong emotional response. You might have really not liked it. It might have been terrible, embarrassing. Any one of those could have outcomes, but it gets stored in the subconscious, in the long-term memory, which we call procedural memory.
Okay.
And when we recall memory from procedural memory, we don't remember the sponsoring event. We just get the emotional mantle put over us. It's like the procedural memory is what we use to learn to tie our shoelaces, to get dressed, to do the motor skills that we have.
Right.
And that's stored in the limbic system of the brain, a really old part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But it also stores emotion. And that is where the problem arises, because we don't know that we're remembering past events. We think we're experiencing this, and we think the event is creating the feelings that we're getting, but it's not. To a degree, a lot of those feelings that we experience are predicated on past. So to be present in the moment and not let that past filter affect you is very difficult. So it's better that you set an intention to help steer you to a new direction.
I get that. So it's a bit like, instead of having the past dictating or like reminding you in subtle ways how it was, by having this intention set, it's like, that's how I intend to feel for the next meeting.
It's not so much the feeling, it's the outcome experience of setting
a
different destination. Because if the old feeling keeps bringing you back to the same experiences of, unsuccessful meetings, unsuccessful calls, frustrations or whatever, you need to have a different objective, a different destination for the outcome of that activity.
Right.
And the intention is like plugging into your phone a different address rather than one that keeps bringing you back to your starting point.
I see. Now we're getting technological now with a bit of sat-nav. You here? You back there? Oh yeah, cool. Darren? Are you back, man?
Hello?
Yeah, are you back now? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, we're back.
A technological glitch there.
So, if state is the platform that we build our day on, and then the intention is the direction we want to travel in, we need to have the currency. We need to have the means to power that intention, and that's our belief. Because belief or intentions without belief is really just hoping, and hoping doesn't get you anywhere. So during the conscious sale, during the day, we explore those areas with exercises to understand the mechanics of how we set intentions and the consequences of not doing it. And then we look at our belief structures. What is it we actually believe in? Now, a lot of people don't realize they have beliefs. They're deep-held beliefs. And they have beliefs that contain what they're capable of, what their experiences will be, whether that's in their earning potential, whether it's how high they can climb in a corporate structure. We all have these subconscious ideas that are limitations, if you like. They're limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at supporting and supporting and believing in those supplanting ones, those intentions. And if we look at the athlete, for example,
yes,
the athlete his performance, her performance is predicated on their belief that they can be better.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And belief is created or is strengthened by making your thoughts and your words and your actions congruent with your intention.
So just
you
the
have
thoughts,
to start thinking it,
the word, yeah,
and your actions. Think it, say it, do it. If you align your thoughts with the best outcome that you can envisage, then you align your words with the best outcome you can envisage, and then your actions, all those three things combined, energetically create the belief in what you're doing. You know that there is nothing more you can do to move yourself faster towards your goal, as opposed to having an intention and then sitting on the sofa in the evening and watching television, or not making any effort to plan the meeting out, or not looking at the details of the client that you're going to meet in advance to structure. You need to do everything that will keep you in alignment with your objective. Then you can start to really, truly believe in it.
yes.
And the thing about belief is it's like a credit in a bank. The more you get belief, the more you experience the achievement of the intention, the more credible it becomes as a process. And it's self-fulfilling. And you start building the size and the span of what you start to focus on as possible. Because ultimately, the real obstacle that we are actually addressing here in the conscious sale is the individual. There are the limiting ideas and beliefs that we all carry around with us, and we seek to remove them so that we can experience, the salespeople can experience their greatest version of themselves, their most opportunistic situations and successes. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. That was great. I like I like what you've just said there on how it's how you come to having a belief that what you think, then what you say, then the things that you do are going to create a belief. And I guess the more you do the thing you say, and the more you say the things you think, the stronger the belief as well.
Precisely. Now, if you take the flip side of the coin,
Yep.
when you say to people, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't want to, it's too difficult, or if you complain about unfairness of a situation, all those things just seek to take your energy, your mental, cognitive energy, and redirect it towards somewhere that isn't taking you closer to your objective. So you have to let go of the idea that situations are unfair. Things are what they are. And you just need to go out and carry on moving towards your objective. And the funny thing is, Gail, when you raise your energetic state and you have set an intention and you believe in it, you give less energy, or you're not prepared to give energy to ideas that don't take you closer to your objectives. You don't waste time complaining. You just get on with it. You just move past whatever the roadblock, obstacle or hurdle is, and you just keep moving towards your goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what distinguishes salespeople. I think there's two camps. There's the ones that I believe I can, and the ones that believe I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't make that number. It's too big. The other one is like, that's a big number. I need to examine what I'm doing. I need to align everything. But yeah, I can do that. I believe in my ability to make that number. I believe in my ability to build that relationship with that client. It's all about whether you choose to believe. Now, it's just putting everything you do in line in order to support that belief. This is not new. This is very, very simple. But for salespeople, we can be our own worst enemies. And what I've created in the Conscious Sale, which is also a book coming out shortly, as well as the program, are clear steps that you can move through in order to start changing your day-to-day experience, such that you can bring around your own success and you can control it.
Right, yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll get on the book and your program and your upcoming event as well on the 29th of April in a minute, because that might be of interest to people who are actually watching the show now. Yeah, what you were saying that I really like is that you said that things are what they are. I'm taking some notes, by the way. So,
excellent.
Excellent, yes. Yeah, when you said that things are what they are, that is so true, that how you get to your goal no matter what, and believing, as you've said, that you can achieve it and you can do it is absolutely vital. I think it's not only applying in sales, but it applies as well in life in general.
It is, absolutely. I mean, one thing is everything, but if we start with an area of our life that we can see the direct correlation of the implementation and the results, I believe that the implementation, the following of this process and this practice will actually permeate to other areas of your life in a positive manner. Because when you start framing things differently, when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of situation and you're the responsible aspect, the responsible agent of all things that happen, you take control, you empower yourself. So you start off by giving yourself as much energy as you can, energetically, from a mental perspective, not just physically, but that helps. So you're responsible for your own energy state. When you observe it dropping, go and pick yourself up, put the headphones on, give yourself a boost. Things invariably will knock you throughout the day. It's how quickly you sort of recover from that is the important thing. Yeah,
I get that.
And over time, you will become more resilient. And it's not even the fact that they're resilient; they just don't register. You just don't notice the bumps in the road anymore. You're too busy focusing on what it is you're setting out to achieve.
Yeah. Or I guess the bump becomes bigger.
Now, I'll share with something as well that was said to me once by one of my mentors, and it was this: that people are fearful of their own success. And I used to believe for the longest time that was true, but I think what I've actually come to see as is not that people are fearful of success. They're fearful of the change that is required in order for them to become successful. Because if you're currently not experiencing the levels of success that you want today, what you're doing day in, day out clearly isn't the recipe to get that success. And therefore you need to change stuff. Now, the grander your vision, the bigger your idea of what success is achievable, probably reflects the bigger change in who you are being daily. So everything I talk about in the Conscious Sale is a practice. You can't do it once and expect results, because that's not how they work. You have to make a commitment to changing those aspects of you that aren't serving you. And that can be difficult. It's not easy to change the programming of an entire lifetime, because a lot of what we're talking about under the hood thinking wise has been given to us as ideas over a span of our lifetime.
Absolutely, man. But on Facebook, we got the opportunity to see memes that challenge all our thinking, and that's a start. Absolutely, and I agree with you. It's so true that there are two things. That the first one is that all of these, I'd say, habits and beliefs that we currently have, they're all based from our childhood, our past, how we've experienced life. And the other thing would the vision, the aspiration that you have. That's something I came to discover recently is not so much that you can't achieve it. It's just that when you achieve it, then you lose that identity of yours of saying, I want the big mansion and the jets and this and that and whatever makes you happy, or the family if you're more of a family man, or maybe the holidays if you prefer going on holiday. But then as soon as you get them, your dream is gone. So it's very scary as well, because that challenges who you are as a human being.
Yeah, it does. And, I think I encourage people throughout the course to look at success differently. And success is often defined exactly as you've articulated, the aspiration to have the big house, to have the holidays, to have the expensive watches, whatever it is, the handbags if you're a woman. The fact is that success is not a physical, material thing outside of you. It's a state of mind. It is how you feel about yourself. Now, when you feel successful and you do consistently well those things that draw the representations of that success, the success to you, like closing of deals, building of relationships, praise at work, those other things, those physical, material things will be consequential. But if you make them out to be the objective of the exercise, they'll become quite hollow when you achieve them. And to a degree, that was largely the basis of my experience and what initiated my transition and the shift in my thinking. A couple of years ago, I left the corporate world to embark on a different chapter of my life. And that was predicated upon the idea that I wasn't satisfied with the physical trappings of the wealth, material trappings of quote-unquote success. It's a state of mind.
Yeah, get that. I totally get that. And that's I think when you get that, it's that state of mind that comes first from within, and then what you see outside is a consequence of that, of your belief. then it transforms really your experience of life, your experience of yourself. And in that case, with the conscious sale, that totally transform, well, the way in that case you are able to relate with your client, with your business, and you conduct your professional life, essentially, your business
Absolutely.
life.
When you become aware of yourself and your objectives in that sales environment, you start to ask questions. Am I here to make a number, to make commission, or am I here to serve my client, to solve their biggest problem? And as a consequence of solving that problem, you experience the success, the value of the financial reward, the adulation. All those things are a byproduct of that experience.
Yes.
So you start to build more authentic relationships when you're more conscious of yourself, more aware of yourself. Not self-conscious in the fearful sense, but mindful of your behavior, mindful of your thinking, mindful of the intentions that are driving the way that you interact. That's really important. And just to share some statistics, just a little bit of information, Gail, as to why I believe this is really important.
Always have a bit of stats, man.
According to Corporate Executive Board, over 45% of executive buyers have already made decisions as to what they're going to buy before they even call the sales rep to talk to them.
Right. 45%.
Yeah, it's nearly half of them, right? What's even worse is 11% of executive buyers, according to Forrester, recently polled, they're not happy with the experience they get from interactions with salespeople. They don't find that they meet their expectations in the sales process. And that's why by the end of 2020, in North America alone, over 20% of the business-to-business workforce will be replaced by e-commerce online solutions.
Really?
Because it's easier to have a customer choose on the screen. Customer simplifies the process. We already know from the evidence that they've already made their decision and they just call in the sales guy to validate. So as salespeople, we need to recognize that we need to come to the table adding value. We can't walk in there and say, what's keeping you awake at night? I have a product. We need to know about their landscape. We need to know about their business. We need to offer value as to how we interact with them, not just in the immediacy of the solution need, but in the future and where it's going.
Yes.
If we can do that, we start to build authentic relationships. We're seen as agents of possibility that can change the situation for the better. And that's really what I want to bring. I want to bring that awareness to the salesperson to re-engage with their client in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, man, I totally get that. Well, I've actually got two takeaways on that. The first one, which is very personal, is that when you said that by 2020, 20% of the B2B sales will be done online, considering...
No, 20% more. No, that's a million people will be replaced. People will be replaced by e-commerce solutions.
20%
It's a million people.
Wow, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
That is scary.
Yeah, well, for me, considering I write and I sell through my writing, I'm like, yeah, that's a future in there for copywriting then. Absolutely. But then I see that, like, and really seeing that shift into where these people are going to get to. Ooh, sounds like a disconnection. Oh, are you back?
You're back.
Yes. I was thinking these people who were like 1 million people on the ground who were there to serve. That's going to be replaced somehow. And I think the sooner you get that skills, that's this ability to, because what it is that understanding other human being and being present for them. It sounds really like that's what you're offering with the conscious sales. How can you understand human beings?
Because at the moment we've got a commercial world heavily dominated by the American approach to sales and business, which is that has its own merits and disadvantages. But having worked for American companies, there is a behavior in the sales environment that what you're trying to do, yes, you're serving clients, but it's really from the microscopic level, it's get the deal in, make the number. We need to announce quarterly share results. We need to make sure that our shareholders are getting the value that we promise them. And that means getting the deal done. Yes. Now, whether that's the corporate banner overhead or whether that's explicitly shared in the trenches, that's not always congruent. But my experience is that we can easily lose sight of why we're there and we just chase the number. And because for new people coming into the environment of sales, they're going to be shaped and formed by the experiences of their early career. At this day and age, I think there needs to be a positive influence exerted on salespeople, and not solely just the paradigm that's currently in play with very high pressured sales environments where each quarter you're being minutely and microscopically measured in order that we can feed into the value of the whole company so that their share price is maintained. You know, look, this is business, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't chase after, with good intentions, all the business that we can, but we mustn't lose sight of the reason why we engage with the client, which is to solve their biggest problems.
Man, yeah, absolutely. That's so true, and I can see that. I can really see the two sides of the coin. One which is, yeah, it's very, very sad for this amount of people who are going to be replaced by e-commerce. And at the same time, as you said, it's driven by the laws of business.
Yeah.
And the laws of business, as tough as they might sound, that's what it is at the end of the day. So better adapt as soon as possible, because one person who might be a sales rep today might evolve to do something different, and sales rep won't decide to remain sales rep, considering the future landscape you've just depicted. Might be the case that going through what it is that you do with the conscious sales would be their solutions for the future. So on that, tell us more about your book, your program, and your next event in London on the.
Okay, thank you. April. So the book is essentially the step-through guide of changing state, intention, and belief in the sales environment, as we've been talking, and that's due out later this year.
Okay. Wonderful.
The next event in April essentially embodies the key messages from the book. And it is experiential. We'll take you through exercises to do for yourself. So to explore your own thinking around where you get your ideas from. You know, why do you think you're good at one thing and not so strong at another? Those are just ideas that you have, and it's deconstructing the underlying reasoning behind it, and then providing you with the tools in order to supplant that with more positive enabling intentions. So it's the mechanics of how we change our state and what happens when it actually raises. It's the mechanics and understanding of why we think the way we do today and how we can change it and what happens when we don't. And then it's the mechanics and understanding all of this in easy steps in how to create belief in what you do and how you can seamlessly stitch this together to start changing the way that you interact with your environment. Because if you imagine that your intellect and your capacity to direct your intention is this sort of this sphere, yeah? Any time that you have any conflict about what you're doing or frustration or dissonance with the role that you're undertaking, you're stealing the energy away from what you could be directing at achieving your goals. Yes, and what we're doing is we're exposing just how much of your energy is being stolen and giving you the tools to redirect it. So it's a one-day event. It's packed full of insight and value that, you know, people have told me they come away. It's changed the way they look at what they do, which is great to hear. You know, from my perspective, it's really humbling to hear that. So the next event is on the 29th of April in London.
That's a Saturday, right?
That's a Saturday. And
April.
It is in Mayfair at the Lansdowne Club.
Wonderful.
There are some tickets still available if people would like to attend.
Good.
It's from sort of 9:30 in the morning. It's a full day.
Yes.
And we will go into depth about how you can re-engineer your success.
Wonderful. That sounds amazing. For people who would like to attend, what is the fee?
The tickets are £35 for the day.
£35 for the day. Wonderful.
And they are available on Eventbrite. You can find them on my website, which is theconscioussale.com, or Eventbrite. You can look for the same name.
Yes. What I'll do, I'll put some links into the YouTube video and on Facebook, so people can join it. Great. And I guess as well, it would be fully packed. How many people do you expect on there?
Well, the venue is limited in size. We've got a capacity of 40 people, but for me, I want to contain the numbers so that I can give the maximum value to the audience that I have.
Great. Wonderful.
So, you know, as we progress, we'll be doing 2 more events this year. So the intention is to do 3 events this year, and depending on how the demand is for tickets, we may increase size. But for me, I quite like the idea of the size because it allows me to connect with everybody in the room.
It's great, wonderful. That's fantastic. So you say £35.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's on the Saturday 29th of April from 9:30 in the morning.
That's right.
Wonderful. So, and I guess the other big thing is that it's a great place to network as well.
The event is solely for salespeople and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So you'll be mixing with like-minded professionals.
Great.
It's a good use of your time. It's a great investment for yourself if you're bettering yourself. If it removes just one of your hurdles that allows you to be more successful in aspects of what you do, that's a great investment.
I totally agree.
So I'll be seeing you on the day, will I, Gail?
You'll see me on the day. Assuming I'm in London on that day, it looks clear at the minute. But then I don't know yet who I'll be on that day. I'm flying to France, to Italy on Sunday, and then to France. So I shall see, my friend. But yeah, absolutely. If I'm in London, I'll be there. There would be nowhere else I would be there rather than hearing.
Wonderful, lovely to hear it.
Hearing your beautiful words. Wonderful, man. Oh, I had a cheeky question as well.
Go ahead.
Right. When your book is ready, would you do me the honor and the honor of sending me a signed copy?
Of course. For you, no problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, Taran, coming to the end of the show, is there anything that you'd like to add? One more thing on top with the conscious sale. So we got the state, intention, and belief, the SIB. Anything else?
I think just that where your attention goes, your experience follows. So if you focus on positive outcomes to what you want to encounter, that's where you'll go. The more uncertainty you allow into that, the less likely it is that you will experience your desired outcome. So just accept that that's where you want to go.
Yeah. Like that, man. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome having you on the show, so thank you. Have a good day.
Have a great day,
buddy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.